the problem with this team is? I'm regimented on the 10 o'clock start here in the morning. When's the last fucking 10 o'clock game we had? 6 games ago? I mean, why is it? This has to be the longest stretch where I'm not watching the Vikings at 10 a.m. And I run a schedule. Coffee, ready, do my walk, do another walk, get eBay handled. I sit down at 9:45. I get into my mode, and I watch the Vikings at 10 a.m.
Good morning, Gjallarhorn. It's the Good Morning Crew back again. Dave, myself, Drew, and Ted are all here today. Ted, how's it going?
Not too bad. Enjoying my midweek day off. But you guys enjoy every day off because you were both retired.
I'm glad Dave pointed out that he's Dave, because I don't think people know by now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, it's for the podcast listening audience.
Yeah, all 8 of them. Oh, shit. Here we go with another week.
Yes, another week. It is week 14 in the NFL, and the Minnesota Vikings will travel to the far northwest, home of rain and Starbucks. So,
and hippies. Can't forget hippies.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam.
Yep, plenty of good bands.
Heart,
And
Mother Love Bone,
and Flying Fish in the market up in Seattle. We're going to the home of the Sea Chickens.
A team that's playing very well right now, I might add.
Yeah, what are they? 7-5, or what are they? 7-5.
7-5, game ahead of us for the wild card spot. They got the first wild card spot right now,
and we're in the second wild card spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks to Washington losing to Philly.
Yes.
After all this great season ahead of us, we got the 6th best team in the NFC.
Drew, you wanted to start out with something.
But we need positive. I think we could jump right into the Seahawks game.
The Seahawks, again, will be Monday night in prime time. Is there anything you guys are looking forward to or hoping to see in that game?
Yeah, a win would be nice.
What was that? I didn't catch that.
A win. A victory.
Yes. You got some numbers, Ted? I mean, what are you throwing at us this week?
Yeah, so here's the deal. We were at the end of our post-game show, we were talking about the offense and defense not really playing complementary football. And the amount of times the Vikings offense has gone 3 and out this year. Or less, three and out with a punt, or 3 and out or less with a turnover. And so I've been looking it up, and I'm going to go. I've kind of just got some preliminary numbers. I'm going to do a more detailed post on the Daily Norseman later. But last year, near as I can tell, by my count, through 16 games, the Minnesota Vikings had 14 drives that went 3 and out or less with either a punt or a turnover. And of those 44 drives, there were only 3 games where they had back-to-back drives or more than 2 drives of that nature. You with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This year, through 12 games, the Vikings have 42 drives of 3 and out with a punt or less than 3 plays with a turnover. And in 5 games, they have consecutive drives of those, if not more. And the Vikings 3 times, they didn't do it. And last year, the Vikings did not do it after week 5 or their 5th game of the year at Chicago, that Monday night game, if we remember, where Sam Bradford came back, looked really ineffective. Case Keenum came in. That didn't happen. Consecutive 3 and out drives in a game didn't happen after week 5, probably until the Philadelphia game. I didn't look at the postseason. Probably the Saints game too. But it's happened as recently as the Chicago game. Amazingly enough, it only happened once against Green Bay and once against New England that I can remember, but I got to go back and look at it again. So we're talking about complementary football, and I also want to go back and look at after those consecutive drives, what did the defense do? Did they score? Did they hold? Did they get a turnover? What? So I'm still looking at it, but that number really jumped out at me so far.
That is eye-opening, dude. That is, man. Wow.
So the Vikings need to not do that for one against the Seahawks on Monday night. They really need to control the ball, control the clock, keep Russell Wilson off the field as much as possible. And when they do finish a drive, score a touchdown and not run Dan Bailey out there to go a 50-50 shot on a field goal.
Yeah, with Wiley showing up late.
Yeah.
Well, that I can kind of just compliment or piggyback on what Ted's talking about here. You got to look at the beast that's in front of you. You got Seattle. This is one of the few teams in the league who actually uses the home field to its advantage. Seattle players, they play better with that crazy 12th man. They do. And there's not a lot of teams in the league that, a lot of times home field advantage is way overblown. They don't, the away team doesn't really matter. But in Seattle, it is a big difference. And to closely point to something that you just mentioned, the 3 and outs. The last 3 weeks, the Vikings have gone 3 and out on their opening offensive drive. The last 3 games. So right off the bat, you're going into Seattle. You have a lame-ass 3 and out to start the game. You're already setting the tone. You're already in drudgery. Your defense is already going, all right, these guys suck. Your coaching staff's down. You got the start of the game is the crucial point in this one for me. I think it is for all teams that go into Seattle. You can't be chasing the score at 14-0 down and let Russell Wilson get rolling. And the first drive of this game is it's huge when you go into Seattle. I mean, even if the Vikings, they want to get a touchdown, sure you want to do that. Even if you could put up 3 or even have a couple first downs to start the game, that is a big difference to try to take that crowd down a notch at places like Seattle. And the Vikings the last 3 weeks have come out and just had these absolutely horrible first drives offensively. 3 and out. 3 and out, 3 and out. The last 3 games have been 3 and outs, and you're not starting. You're starting off with a bad vibe already. I mean, you can't do it. I think this all comes down to the opening drive of the game. I mean, you want to hook the whole game on it, but you come back to Russell Wilson, he gets a touchdown, then you go 3 and out, punt it back, and they get a field goal. You're down 10-0 in Seattle. The crowd's kicking your ass. It already seems like it's over.
Yeah. Very good point. It does very much so.
And that crowd will get into it if they have the opportunity and they get loud.
The start of these Viking games is really a mind bender to me. Why we always come out and sleepwalk through the first quarter. I think it puts us at a big disadvantage every week.
Especially when you're playing on the road. I mean, if you get down early at home, I think it's just maybe a play or two that can help turn the crowd around and in your favor, get a little adrenaline, a little momentum going. That happens against you on the road, and then it sort of feels like a snowball effect. And this Vikings team, when that happens, man, it just feels like they're playing. It may be 10-0 on the scoreboard, but for a while when I think it was 10-0 against the Patriots, it felt like it was 28-0.
Oh, absolutely. Totally. Even when it was 10-10, I felt like I was in the short end of the stick, like I was hanging on for dear life. And it's tied.
Yeah.
It's tied. I should be thinking, well,
and if we'd have made a field goal, we would have been ahead by 3.
You got to start the game. I mean, even if you put together a couple first downs and you have to punt it from midfield, at least you're not, you know what I'm saying? It makes a difference. Momentum is something you got to try to grab. And why do the Vikings come out every week and seem like they have to ease into every game? Don't they seem like a team? They were all sleeping 10 minutes before the game, and somebody knocked on the door and went, all right, you guys ready? And they're all groggy. Yeah, we'll be right there.
Last month or so, it's felt that way, yeah.
It's like getting a kid out of bed to go to school. All right. You have to keep going back in there every 15 minutes. Get up. I want to see him come out and have some, just play better. I mean, come on. I don't have a lot of confidence in this game. I mean, we haven't beaten any. Who have we beaten with a winning record?
Nobody.
You beat the Cardinals. You beat the 49ers. You beat the Lions. You beat, the Jets. What good is all that? You hang your hat on that all day. Even the Eagles game wasn't that impressive. I mean, they're not. What are they? 6-6? I mean, you got to beat. You got to have this game. You can't lose it if you want to have a chance for the postseason, especially the division.
No, you can't. If they lose it.
Well, Drew, you mentioned the playoffs. I did a playoff post on the Daily Norseman this morning. And in a vacuum, if the Vikings, with no other results factored in, if the Vikings win, right now they're at, I think, right at 60% chance to make the playoffs. After everything that's happened, they still have a better than an even chance to go to the playoffs. If they beat Seattle, those chances go up to 85. If they lose, it goes down to 44. If the Vikes win and the Rams beat Chicago, their chances to win the NFC North go up to it becomes a 50-50 shot, where right now I think it's like less than 20%. Yeah, this is a huge game, not only for playoff seeding, but a chance to realistically host a game at home. I mean, the first round bye is, I think they've got like less than a 1% chance to get a first round bye. That's not realistic. But they could still win the division if they can figure out a way to beat Seattle and the Rams, who are playing for a lot. The Rams are playing to clinch a first round bye this Sunday, so I don't think they're going to be resting anybody. It's a big deal.
The Rams will beat the Bears. But tell me, how am I supposed to have confidence and faith in this team to come out and start strong? I mean,
on paper and the way they played so far, you shouldn't. But it always seems, and we sort of said this last week, but it still kind of holds true. About the time you count the Vikings out is when they start figuring things out and playing good football. So if it's going to happen, I mean, it has. Let's put it this way: it has to happen, or everything else is just going to be a slog for the rest of the season.
Slog it up!
That doesn't do well for those that have a contract expiring at the end of this season. You would expect them to at least step up and play, and we're not seeing that.
I mean, at this point,
than Anthony Harris, who's doing
at this point, if you're playing, money is money. I mean, and when you're talking about ridiculous sums of money in the NFL, I mean, maybe Anthony Barr, whatever. But at this point, if you're not playing for pride and a chance to prove you're better than other teams and better than the guy next to you, why are you playing? I mean, I get the money, but the money aspect is gone now. I mean, it's December. If you're playing because you're looking for I don't want to get hurt. Nobody wants to get hurt. But if you're looking to play because you're looking for the next contract, I think maybe you might not be playing for the right reasons. But that's just me.
No, I agree. But we know that there are players that do just that. Now, are there any on the Vikings? We don't know. I mean, we won't know until we start hearing stories after the season. We hope not. We hope that they are mentally in it to win it, right? But we question that as fans when we get 3 weeks in a row of 3 and outs on that first drive. And I think it affects. As you guys know, we got an email this week, and they were saying that not all players play for the love of the game. And we knew that was correct with Khalil. And it's just, again, if that's affecting the team, it still rolls down to leadership at that point. Not only on the field for the team captains, but on the sideline. But I would put onus on the team captains as well, as to motivate these players.
Something. They need to do something, because they've come out and gone through a zombie walk for the first half, or a good part of the first quarter of the last month. Right when football, right when it's getting to crunch time and it's time to sink or swim, the Vikings seem to just think it's okay to tread water and we'll figure it out at the end.
They're
set the tone.
Right. Come out and throw the first punch for once. Quit chasing the fucking score all the time. I mean, Play like be the bully for a week. Let's see some life out of this team. There's a disconnect going on. There's a lot more to what's going on, but that's why I didn't want to get into it too much earlier. This is this season. We got to look at what's ahead of us. There's something going on. The DiFilippo thing's not working out, and I think Zimmer knows it. But what are you going to do? You have to play the games out. You have to try to do your best to win.
Yeah, you can't, and you can't fire him at this point. I mean, I think that would just be cutting off your nose to spite your face. You got to roll through the end of the season and then just kind of evaluate things later. But I think firing him would do more harm than good right now.
Right. And he can't be sitting in his office right now worried about that. He's got to be sitting in his office.
I disagree.
He's got to be sitting in his office looking at the game plan. That's all he needs to be doing.
Well, he definitely needs to be looking at the Seattle game plan. But I disagree on the firing. If they go out and lay another egg Monday night, I would hope somebody would step up and say, nah, this ain't working. I gave you your chance. I counseled you the best way I could. I expected this. There's reports coming out in the press that you're doing whatever you want, no matter what I say.
Why the fuck wouldn't he do that last week? Why the hell wouldn't he do that last week? You need a more poor showing offensively than last week. We had 10 drives. We scored on 2 of them. And on 7 of those 10 drives, we had 27 yards or less. On 7 of the drives. I mean, what?
Because Zim has a history of showing loyalty to those that show loyalty to him. And he'll only go so far.
Well, he's not going to get fired, I don't think. I think point at hand, the Seahawks, number 1 rushing offense in the league. So you prepare that way. They're pretty shitty at passing. So
we're going to get Kirk Cousins go throwing 50 times again in Seattle.
No. I mean, Seattle's run defense is only 17th in the league.
Oh, okay.
They're middle of the road to ranked defense in the league. So I'm talking about their offense. I mean,
my bad.
You guys, they are 26th in passing. Let me throw this out there to you, Ted. Thielen and Diggs have 182 catches on the year. Our 2 top wide receivers, 182 catches.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle's 2 top wide receivers, which are Lockett and Baldwin, catches from their 2 wide receivers. 100.
Wow.
We have 182 catches between Diggs and Thielen. They have 81 between Lockett and Baldwin.
Wow.
I mean, that's the discrepancy. That's how. I mean, they only throw for 204 yards a game. But that's kind of where we stand on the thing. So game planning should be a little easier from the standpoint of, they're going to try to rush the football since they run for 150. They're number 1 rushing offense in the league. So we're going to have to be stout on, but they're not going to, Russell Wilson's not going to put up 350 yards on you.
Yeah, but how much of that rushing though is Russell Wilson, breaking containment and just making a play?
He's dangerous. And do we really defend quarterbacks who run? I mean, Josh Allen killed us.
Yeah.
No, not until they put a spy in there.
I mean, Trubisky, that was the key to beating the Bears in Chicago.
Trubisky
is if you put on a rush, which the Vikings did, they got Trubisky out of the pocket, but then the key is to get home and make the play. And I think 5 or 6 times he was able to break containment and get yards with his legs and keep a drive alive or score or whatever it was. And if the Vikings allow that to happen against Seattle on Monday, I think it's going to be a long night.
And that's where it comes into question. Why the fuck are we letting them do it? They don't game plan. They don't fucking game plan enough, the Vikings.
In the Chicago game, it took to the second half before they stuck a spy on Trubisky.
Why?
To stop him from that.
And he didn't do anything in the second half, really, running the ball.
No.
Why not do that at the beginning of the game? Fuck.
I don't know if they anticipated him running that much.
How could you not?
But you got Russell Wilson. The guy's been running for fucking years. If you're not ready to do that at the beginning of the game, you're not preparing your team enough.
Right.
You're right.
For Seattle, they should, from play 1, when Seattle's offense and Russell Wilson's out there, they should have a spy on Wilson.
Fuck. Yeah. Sorry. It's fucking frustrating.
Oh, it is. It's aggravating to watch. It's like chewing glass.
I'm not giving everybody a pass. I'm not giving shit a pass anymore. I'm not doing it. The Vikings have the same game plan every week, even though we're playing a different team. You can't have the same. Yeah. Where's the mismatches?
It feels like Mike Zimmer on defense. It feels like Mike Zimmer says, "This is what we're going to do. Beat it."
Right.
And then when offenses do, then he sort of kind of adjusts from there, as opposed to the opposite, which is making teams adjust their game plan based on what the Vikings are doing defensively. I don't think there's a whole lot of that going on.
It looks the same to me every week. Offensively, defensively, the game plans look the same. They look the same every week. And every week, every team's not the same.
No.
I mean, we're still 6th overall in defense. So, but in Seattle, 2nd in the league in takeaways. So there we go. You got the screaming home field, you got the scrambling ass running back or quarterback, and you got a team that's plus 11 in turnovers. This is a brew that's being stirred up. That's not good right now. I'm telling you, it's not. We're gonna be walking into a fucking buzzsaw if this team isn't prepared to play.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree, 100%.
The Bears are number 1 in takeaways. Seattle's 2nd. And Seattle has their eye on that prize. Seattle the last 3 weeks have been dusting people. They almost see the light as if they're going in a different direction. Like Ted had mentioned, the Vikings just seem to be slow walking through it all. So I don't know. We'll see.
What offensive game plan would you like to see other than just a generic let's win? Do you want more focus on running? Do you want more focus on passing? Do you want more focus on a mixture of the two? Because the Vikings right now, I looked last week and then I saw something briefly this week. They're running a pass to run ratio of 60 some odd %, right? And they're number 1. They pass the most out of any team in the league when it comes to ratio. Do you want to see that ratio get closer to 50-50? What do you guys want to see?
Go ahead, I want balance. I want balance. I mean, when the Vikings run a balanced offense, they win the football game. Yeah, and Dalvin Cook doesn't need to get 125 yards. But one thing I didn't understand at all, and I wrote this in the stock market report. Dalvin Cook, first half, Dalvin Cook, he had consecutive runs in the first half of like 31 and 18 yards. One came with 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter, which was the 32-yard run, I think it was. And his 18-yard run came a full 15 minutes of gameplay later with like 7 minutes or 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And the running game was working. It frustrates me when the Vikings can get 3 or 4 yards at a crack and they get in very manageable down and distance situations, and then they decide for whatever reason to pass 9 or 10 straight times.
Right.
Dance with what got you there. I mean, the Vikings, and I'm not saying this to discount the big play capability of Thielen and Diggs, but if you can run the ball effectively, the safeties creep down a little bit, a step or two, and then it opens up the passing game a little bit more. And yet, I think people say you got to pass to set up the run, but that's not working for the Vikings very well. They're passing far too much. The runs are not as effective as they could be. And I just, especially in that environment, if they can get an early lead by running the ball, getting that crowd quiet, it will bode well for them. It keeps the defense off the field. It keeps them rested. You go 3 and out as many times as the Vikings do this year. Even the best defense is going to crack. And I think that's happened far too often. It frustrates me to no end to watch the disparity between the pass and the run this year.
Did you go bum Phillips on us right there? The dance with who brung you?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
That is fucking beautiful. Bum Phillips. If you have Bum Phillips reference on the show, it's gold. I love Bum Phillips. No, I agree with everything you're saying. It is frustrating. And I think if you're running the football well, keep running it.
Yes. Don't stop. That's what was so weird about last week.
I can't really I didn't really look at those first 2 drives. Those are big for me. If we go 3 and out, we're talking butt pee for the finish of that one.
Yep.
Not going to end well. Can't chase the score in Seattle.
Sure can't. Nope, cannot.
I got some questions for you when you guys are ready.
Let's go.
Okay, I call this segment Way or No Way. Or either yes or no, because that's basically all I can come up with. I'm not very creative. I'm not creative, guys. I kind of just go with the flow. But I'll ask these, and you guys answer them. We'll flip-flop back and forth. So Dave will be the first to answer the first one. Do the Vikings rush for 100 yards this week?
Way.
No way.
Yes. No way. Do the Vikings hold the Seahawks to 20 points or less? Ted?
No.
Way.
Okay. Back to Dave. How many sacks do the Vikings get on Russell Wilson this week?
4.
1.
Okay. And I thought, so this segment's going well. I didn't have a lot of questions. I got some seasonal questions I want to ask you here. Is D. Filippo here next year? Part of this team.
I honestly don't know. I keep hearing stories about DeFilippo being in the running for a head coaching job, but then I see his play calling.
I'm sorry,
it's a head scratcher.
The second calls for yes or no. Sorry.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Dave says no. You guys disagree on a lot of stuff. I like that's how the game makes the game better. So it's almost like we scripted it. But we are. I want to let everybody know out there. We, as you can tell, we're not very professional. Is Zimmer here next year?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do we make the playoffs this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the last question in the book for this week. I probably should have made more questions. I want you to each give me 2 players who will not be wearing the purple and gold next year.
Barr, number 1.
Let's see. Where am I putting your answers? Okay, Barr.
And Iloka.
Barr and Iloka. Is he still on the team?
Yes, he is.
Are we
All
going
right.
one offense, one defense, or does it matter?
Any 2. It doesn't matter.
Mike Remmers.
But hey, it doesn't matter. But if you give me Matt Weil, it's not really going to be good for the show because nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. All right, go ahead.
Mike Remmers and Andrew Sendejo.
Mike Remmers and Andrew Sendejo.
Mike Remmers and write this one down. Everson Griffin.
Whoa.
You can give me 3. What was it? Remmers, Sendejo?
All right. Remmers, Sendejo, and Griff.
Ooh, that is fucking. Woo!
Sendejo was a very good one. Yes, I don't think he's going to be gone either, and he's better.
Add that to your list.
No, because I want 3 different ones. But if you want, there's got to be somebody else on the offense that we won't see next year. And
you got one left. Barr, Iloka, and so you're going to go offense.
Going offense. Let's scroll down the. You want a hot take? How about Rudolph?
Ooh,
that's actually really good knowledge. I like that pick. Not that I like it, but I think that could happen. All right, that's my little segment.
Any last word there, Drew, as you play with your pen?
Hopefully, I'm not doing that Monday night playing with my pen in the third quarter. Fuck's sake. Yeah, we have to win this game or we're not going to make the playoffs. I didn't ask myself any of these questions, but we're back to 0 on the kicking. Try to get a good game of kicking. It might come down to kicking this week. We just got to have it. We can't afford to lose this game. So it's a playoff game again. I mean, the Giants did us a favor, gave us a little bit of hope, but had Chicago won last week, we're probably already done. So,
yeah, true.
No excuse.
What do you have to say, Ted?
You want a spicy hot take?
Sure.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins will have 3 turnovers.
Oh, that will hurt.
A combination of fumbles and interceptions, and the Vikings will lose by 10 points. I'm rapidly losing faith in this team.
We have 3 turnovers. Is that what you said?
Kirk Cousins will have 3 turnovers.
That's hard to even argue that. Yeah, I don't have I don't have either. I don't have a lot of faith in this team either right now, and I don't see us winning this game. So send me all your hate mail. I can give a fuck less than being realistic. I don't feel good going into this game.
I don't either.
Well, the teams are pretty even. The Seahawks are favored by 3. And it's Monday night under the lights.
They're playing way better than we are right now, though, so you can't say we're even.
Yep.
And playing Monday night under the lights, which Zimmer, I saw a stat this week, is I think 1 game above 500 when it comes to primetime games on his time in Minnesota. So, or national games, I should say, not just primetime. National.
Yeah!
And which isn't great. So we'll see. To wrap it up, Drew.
Meow, meow, Viking cow, meow, meow.
Ted.
Skull Vikes. I hope we win. I'm cheering for him. I may not be optimistic, but I'll be cheering to the bitter end if it comes down.
All right. Cool, everybody.